Good evening, Eagles fans, and welcome to your daily dose of Birds Buzz right here on the Eagles Insider Report. I'm your host, bringing you all the action from the heart of Philly football. Picture this, you're soaring high at 4-0, the city's buzzing with that unbeatable energy, fans chanting, "Fly Eagles fly," from every corner of Broad Street. But then, bam, a nagging whisper turns into a roar. Is A.J. Brown getting enough touches? It's the kind of drama that could derail even the mightiest of teams. Well, hold on to your helmets, because a Philly legend just slammed the door on that debate, and with a fresh loss on the books, we've got a lot to unpack tonight. Let's dive right in. First off, let's set the scene with the big news that's got everyone talking. Seth Joyner, that iconic linebacker who helped anchor the Eagles' ferocious defense back in the 90s. Remember him? The guy was a three-time Pro Bowler, racking up over 50 sacks in his career, and he's still a voice of reason in this town. He hopped on the 94 WIP morning show and straight up declared he's done, absolutely finished, with all this chatter about A.J. Brown not getting enough targets. It's Thursday afternoon. The Eagles are 4-0, but we're talking about A.J. Brown not getting targets. Seriously, the team is 4-0. And we're talking about A.J. not getting targets, Joyner said, sounding like a coach who's had enough of the sideline whining. He even threw in a little AI twist to emphasize his point, but the message was clear. Focus on the wins, not the individual stats. It's like he's channeling the spirit of old-school Eagles toughness, reminding us that in Philly, it's about the team, not the spotlight. Now, Joyner dropped this mic just before the Eagles' perfect start came crashing down. That's right, folks. The Birds suffered their first setback of the season, falling 21-17 to the Denver Broncos in a game that felt like a wake-up call wrapped in frustration. Up until then, Philly was cruising, defending their championship pedigree from that epic 2017 Super Bowl run. You know, the one where Nick Foles outdueled Tom Brady, and the city erupted in a sea of green. But against Denver, the offense looked lost, like they'd forgotten the blueprint that got them to 4-0. Saquon Barkley, our explosive running back who bolted from the Giants, talk about sticking it to a rival, only got 6 carries. 6. That's criminal for a guy who's been averaging over 100 yards per game early on. Instead, Jalen Hurts was dropping back 44 times to pass. Hurts, our dual-threat quarterback who's rewritten the record books with his legs and arm, now sits at 0-5 in games where he attempts that many throws. It's a recipe for disaster, turning a balanced attack into a one-dimensional mess that the Broncos' defense devoured. And in the middle of it all, A.J. Brown himself, the star wideout, who we traded for back in 2022 and immediately turned into a Philly favorite with his big playability. Remember that 1,496-yard season last year? He saw 8 targets in the loss, hauling in 5 for 43 yards. Not bad, but not the monster numbers we're used to from a guy who's built like a tank at 6 feet 1 inch, 226 pounds, and runs routes with the precision of a surgeon. There was that one deep route where it looked like he might have eased up, leading to an incompletion, and his post-game comments? Classic A.J., cryptic and cool. "I wouldn't give you my frustration," he told reporters, leaving us all to read between the lines. But let's be real, his season stats paint a quieter picture. Through 5 games, Brown's got just 23 receptions for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns. Compare that to his teammate Devonta Smith, the Slim Reaper himself, who's been lighting it up with his speed and hands, or even the ageless Jason Kelce anchoring the line. Wait, no, Kelce retired, but his brother Travis is still out there with the Chiefs, adding that family flair to the league. This loss flips the script on the whole Brown narrative. What was once an annoying hum during a winning streak now feels like a siren blaring urgent concerns. Head coach Nick Sirianni, the fiery leader who's taken heat for his intensity but delivered results, including that Super Bowl appearance in 2022, faces a real puzzle here. How do you balance feeding your star receiver without abandoning the run-heavy identity that's won games? The Eagles' offense thrives on that ground-and-pound style, pounding defenses into submission like Reggie White used to sack quarterbacks back in the day. White, the Minister of Defense, still holds the franchise record with 124 sacks. Talk about a legend who embodied Philly's grit. Or think about Brian Dawkins, Weapon X, patrolling the secondary with that Wolverine ferocity. These guys remind us that Eagles' history is built on balance, not egos. Let's break it down tactically, because as your Eagles expert, I love getting into the X's and O's. Against Denver, the play calling skewed heavily pass-happy, which played right into the Broncos' strengths. Their defensive line, led by guys like Zach Allen, pressured Hurts relentlessly, forcing hurried throws and stalling drives. Barkley, with his burst and vision, honed from years in New York before jumping ship to Philly, could have exploited Denver's run defense, which ranks middle of the pack league-wide. Instead, we saw an offense that mirrored some of the struggles from last season's late slump, when the Birds went 1-6 down the stretch after a hot start. Statistically, Philly's rushing attack is elite this year, averaging 150 yards per game before this dud, but dropping to under 50 against Denver? That's a red flag. Hurts completed 25 of 44 passes for 278 yards, a touchdown, and an pick. Solid, but inefficient. Brown's 43 yards. It's his lowest output in a game with that many targets this season, highlighting maybe some chemistry issues or route adjustments needed. To add some flavor, imagine if we caught up with a fictional Eagles insider or even a fan at the link. Let's say I chatted with longtime season ticket holder Mike from South Philly. Look, AJ's a beast, but this ain't about one guy, Mike might say, echoing Joyner's vibe. We've got Hurts slinging it to Smith, Goddard in the middle, and Barkley bulldozing. Win as a team, that's the Philly way. Or picture Sirianni in a post-practice presser, we're all in this together. AJ's frustrated, join the club after a loss. But we'll scheme it up, get him involved without forcing it. These voices capture the pulse of the fanbase, that passionate, no-nonsense crowd that packs Lincoln Financial Field every Sunday, turning it into a cauldron of noise. Remember the Philly special from Super Bowl 52? That's the innovation we need now, blending run and pass to keep defenses guessing. Historically, this kind of internal tension isn't new for the Eagles. Think back to the Andy Reid era with Donovan McNabb, our gunslinger QB who led us to 5 NFC championship games. There were whispers about target shares with Terrell Owens. Remember that driveway sit-up drama? But they powered through to Super Bowl 39. Or the fierce rivalries in the NFC East, those Dallas Cowboys games, where we battle Dak Prescott and that star on the helmet like it's a blood feud. The Giants, with their sneaky defenses, or the Commanders trying to rebuild. Philly's always thrived on adversity, turning it into fuel. Pop culture-wise, it's like the Eagles are the Rocky Balboa of the NFL. Underdogs who punch above their weight, inspiring movies and memes. And with current events, amid a season where injuries are plaguing teams league-wide, the Birds are relatively healthy, giving them an edge. Looking ahead, this loss could be a blessing in disguise. At 4-1, the Eagles are still atop the NFC East, but it sharpens the focus. Predictions. I see them bouncing back strong against the Browns next. Hurts dials in, Barkley gets 20-plus carries, and Brown explodes for 100-plus yards. Expert opinion from around the league, like what you'd hear from ESPN's Mina Kimes, might say, Philly's got the talent, it's about execution. Implications for the playoffs? Solve this balance, and they're Super Bowl contenders again. But ignore it, and that noise Joyner silenced could creep back, threatening the quest for another Lombardi trophy. Eagles Nation, what a roller coaster it's been, but that's why we love this team. The heart, the drama, the triumphs. Stay tuned for more updates, hit that subscribe button, and join us for the next game. Fly Eagles fly, let's make some noise. Until next time, this is your Eagles anchor signing off.